Welcome guys to my predictions for the UFC 284 card. I'm going to do the full, from early prelims to the main card, starting from basically the start of the card. I'm going with Sabura Turgorov against Elvis Brenner. I apologise for any names butchering that I do because it's going to happen. Sabura Turkarov has been looking quite good in his last couple of fights, so I do think he's going to have a pretty easy night in the office. So let's hope. Then I've got, I believe, Blake Blider, who is fighting. The opponent's name isn't coming up here for some reason. They might not be fighting, but I will double check that. Against Shane Young, that's who he's supposed to be fighting, but for some reason it's blacked out. I don't know if that fight's been called off or it's just my phone's bugged. We have then third is Luma Lukbumi. She has been on fire. Mind watching her last fight where she squeezed out a decision win, but she's been looking very good. I've watched a couple of her fights. Nothing really stands out with her, but I am hoping she picks up the win because she is a good fighter. She's been looking quite solid the past couple of fights, and she's fighting Ellis Reed. Then the next one is Jack Jenkins versus Don Shinnis. Got Jack Jenkins. He's for this fight I picked it on experience, sort of not experience, but Don Shillings has got what 12. He's 12-4 in the his professional record, where Jack Jensen is 10-2. So I think Jack's might edge out the win. I can't remember. I did do a whole background check on a lot of these fights because I was doing bets. And I don't know, I can't really remember that. I should do these videos more when I'm doing the background stuff as well. But this is, I just like to get this out there, We never know what's going to happen. Then I've got Shannon Ross, oh no, sorry. Let me jump back one fight. The next fight after Jack Jenkins is Jamie Millarkey versus Francisco Pedro. So, I've picked Francisco Pedro, Argentinian fighter. I think he's one of the first Argentinian fighters to be in the UFC. Excuse me, Ponce Antonibios is Argentinian. But he's one of the first, there's very few Argentinian fighters. I'll continue to talk past this. But maybe we could see that happening to Josh Emmett in tonight. But I doubt it. But it's possible. Yair's, got quite a lot of power. Well, not power. Yair's a dangerous foe for anyone. Now, where were we? Was Shannon Ross? No, so we were talking about Francisco Pedro. So this is his first fight in the UFC. Currently undefeated, and the dude he's fighting, Jamie Millarkey, is very experienced compared to him. I think he's got like double the amount of wins, got a couple of losses, whereas Francisco has only got 7 wins, 0 losses, and I think 1 no contest or a draw. I don't want to, hang on, but I think it was a no contest. Then the fight after that is Shannon Ross versus Keildon Rodriguez. So I've picked Shannon Ross, no particular reason. I did all a background check as I said earlier, but I can't remember. When I'm looking at these names, nothing's jumping out at me. Joshua Calbaldo versus Milasek Bagahazdadshiran. That was just a 50-50. I put money on Joshua Calbaldo. Then Tyson Pedro. Tyson Pedro's been looking absolutely phenomenal in his last couple of fights. He's coming off of 2 back-to-back wins. Where he's looking like he's improving every fight. I think it's been about I think since November, I think his last fight was. So there's about 4 months, I don't think he took too much damage in his last fight, so he's probably going to be coming into this one looking pretty sharp, you know, to put on a show for the, the Australian crowd, because I believe he's Australian. You know, not the best with my geography. Then it's after that fight, it's Jimmy Crute versus Alonzo Manifield. As again, I apologise for the name butchering, but I've picked Alonzo. He just looks like he's going to be the cleaner one out of the two. Like the other one looks a bit too buffed out. Like a bit too heavy. Whereas I think Alonso Manfield looks more athletic. He's going to hit him, got to be able to move around a wee bit more, and really hurt Jimmy Crute. Then Justin Tufa versus Parker Porter. Maybe I've just mixed up these two fights, so I apologise if that's what I've just done. But I think it's Parker Porter that is the one that I was like, I'm thinking Justin Tufa. That's a heavyweight sling match. Whoever really going to land first going to be the victor. And then I'm pretty sure after that we're basically already into the main card. Yeah. So Jimmy Crute and Alonso's main card. Justin Tufa versus the other Parker Porter's also main card. Jack Della Mandelia. Again, very confusing name. But Jack Della versus Randy Brown. I've picked Jack. He just has more. His striking's just so much better. Like he's so active on getting inside the pocket to pull off these striking. He is phenomenal. Since I've watched a couple of his fights, and I've always said, he is a guy I've got to watch out for, because he is going to be he is a rising star at the minute. He has like a sort of secret. It's when the rematch between Brandon Moreno and Davison Figueiredo, there was something about Brandon's mentality before the fight, which you just knew he was going to win. He seemed too so relaxed, so happy. Jack's got that type of. He's not like happy and relaxed, but he has that type of aura surrounding him. That that is like, I'm going to beat the brakes off you, man. I think Randy Brown's got to put up a nice challenge because of the length, but I think once Jack sort of figures out the distance and gets inside and I think Jack's going to get it. And then we're looking at Jair Rodriguez versus Josh Emmett. Now, my heart says Jair, my brain says Emmett. Okay, because Emmett's obviously he's got wrestling background as well. I don't think he's had to utilise it at all in the UFC. Judging by his interview he done last night, or which I've seen, he's never used it, but I think he's going to have to use it here. But as I've seen in his last couple of fights, he seems a bit, I don't know, he does seem like he likes to rely on that power a bit too much, and I think if he fights like that, it's game over for him. Yair's too slick for you to just rely on a power shot. But anything can happen. That's why the sport of MMA is so amazing. Yair might slip left and get caught, or he just, as I say, maybe Josh Emmett just takes him down. It could be a possibility of things. And then we have Islam versus Alexander Volkanovski. Oh my God, what a fight! This is probably going to be one of the fights that's, it's just, you don't know what's going to happen. Is Alexander Volkanovski just going to outmaneuver Islam in any way, or is Islam just going to do what he's done to everyone so far? Get his hands on Volkanovski, and that's it. As soon as Islam / Khabib, and I know I don't like to put the two names together, but they do train together a lot. Or, they were training partners all the way through the Khabib's career, and then only recently, as Khabib stopped coaching. You seen it with as soon as they touched them, even they just, when they were doing like hand fighting, and Khabib versus Justin Gaethje was one of where I noticed it the most. Khabib had his hands on both of Gaethje's wrists as they were standing, you know, like to try and just pull away the block, you know, his guard. And Gaethje, man, you could see how hard he was pulling at his arms to get his wrists free. He done it once, and then Khabib just, the second time Justin Gaethje went to do it, Khabib just let him go. And the way Justin Gaethje sprang boldly away from him, because he put so much force to break from the script, I thought to myself, man, they must have this grip that you're like, oh my god, man, like, get off me, you can't break free. What am I supposed to do? You know, you yank your whole body weight behind it. Just it doesn't seem to be even enough to break. But Khabib let him go, and then he stumbles back, and then Khabib could pressure him. You know, these are the things that I've seen when I've been watching. Islam is always a funny one though. It's the same argument, you know, like with the Charles fight. Okay, Charles was supposed to be the toughest challenge for Islam. It wasn't a tough challenge for Islam. You know, if you watch that, it's, you know, Islam was obviously cautious in the first, but as soon as he, you know, started, piecing, you know, Charles on the feet, that was it. Charles got hurt, wanted to go back on his back like he's done so many times before. That was it, game over. You know what I mean? He's done it to everyone he's fought. I just don't think Volkanovski is going to have this. I think Volkanovski is strong, but he's not going to have the strength to deal with a monster such as Islam. Like, Islam is just so. He's going to be so much more stronger than it, you know, that you can really prepare for. Unless you've been training your whole life like he has to, you know, compete against him. I think that's the only way you're going to have maybe the physical strength to maybe match with Islam. It's a tight one. But yeah, that is my picks for this card. Um, you know, I am a betting man myself. I like to pick, you know, from the early prelims all the way to the main card. Just to put a pound on it. If they all win, if I get all my picks right, I win quite a bit of money. Well, if I get it wrong, I only lose a pound. I'm not condoning betting or any way. My advice would be, if you are betting, bet smart. Don't bet a lot of money to gain a little bit. Bet a little bit of money to earn a lot. Take the risk. Don't put hundreds of pounds on. Just £1, man. £1 for all the picks I've just said. When I put them on, £1,500. You know, for what, 13 fighters to win? If you're a statistics man like me, there's about 4 fights on here that I maybe shouldn't have picked, but 4 out of 13, it's not bad even if I lose. Gives me a bit more like, oh, you know, yeah, it gives me a more purpose to watch the sport than just watching it. Gives me a bit more like an investment, you know, like I've invested into it. But that's my thing with. But guys, don't bet. It's not you're a loser if you bet. But please be safe. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope you guys enjoy the fights tonight because they are going to be bangers. Enjoy, guys. Peace out.